London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening anyway. They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organisation who uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis Britain.
It's the world we're living in now, fascist world. This is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation. And the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become a part of the nation. What is the nation? The nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, it's just a myth, but that's what they go for. And on that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into one another. But that isn't that rare. I mean, you saw exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. You look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany, there were private companies in those camps making use of that slave labor. Fascism often works with corporations, and it's doing the same now. That's the way in which they track what you do. That's the way in which they track who you talk to. They operate as each other's proxies.
Charles is an expert in the dark arts of surveillance who worked to set up democratic media in post-communist states. How did it go so wrong in Britain?
We're looking at all the wrong things when we look at Britain's crisis. There's a lot of concentration on data and how that's been used and manipulated. And what we haven't looked at is the power structures and the profit that lies behind this. For example, if we examine what actually happened, there's a company that's really very interested in selling passports and making it easy to provide visas for investment and so on. And historically, throughout the world, they've been working with this big data manipulation company in order to overthrow governments. And then suddenly all the chickens came home to roost. Nobody could find any receipts for what was paid for. Nobody could figure out how things were done, but everybody had a feeling that something really stunk, and they couldn't figure it out. And yet,
I'm not so sure I can take this one on
in their face the whole time. There's a couple of different ways that we got where it is that we are. And one, you have a lot of smaller organizations, smaller power groups, companies as well, who are bending things just a little. We'll compromise a little bit, we'll bend the rules a little bit, and try to achieve what it is that we hope to achieve that's good for us. And if you add all of that up, what you end up with is a big wall moving.
Auto drive now enabled.
Way, from a lot of little buttons being pushed. But also there's this other thing that's going on here, is the gathering of data and the analysis of data has authoritarianism contained within its DNA. It is by its nature a tool for authoritarianism. And it has been used now.
How does big data look into our lives? James covered it for the pre-crisis press.
We're starting to see the merger of private data and that with data held by the state into what are called social credit systems. This is where every aspect of your behaviour is monitored and totted up by a central system to sort of score you as a person, a bit like a credit card, but predicated on all of your behaviour rather than just the money you're spending. And this can have profound impact. We're starting to see systems emerge which will punish you and stop you from doing things in society based on your behaviours. And this can be as trivial as if you jaywalk, if you cross the road in the wrong place, you might lose points. If
Auto
you
drive now
do some
disabled.
community activities or help your neighbours, you might earn points. And then this can be used to sort of evaluate you as a person. And this could mean, for example, better travel privileges, being able to travel first class, or being denied from travelling first class to not being allowed to travel at all. These systems are very real and very possible because of all of the data that is now helping us.
So if your ears are burning and you think someone might be watching you, you're probably not. They're watching all of us. I'm Tash and you've been listening to Buckingham. Keep listening, keep sharing the show and keep listening. They're watching us.
Our potential recruit has made a hefty wager against the reigning champion of this arena. Why not step in the ring and make sure they win their bet?
Looking for some action, eh? In you go.
Taste the tension in here. Our fighters are ready, are you? Well, you'd better be. Bets are closed and we're ready to roll.
Scared, are you?
An unbelievable blow. Don't know how anyone will come back from that. A solid hit. That's the shit we like to see. Am I right, people, or what? Oh, shit, you're an absolutely disgusting blow.
That's ridiculous.
I want to hear that energy, folks. I want to hear the love and the hate. Get hype. The fighters step into the limelight. Take a look at
Come on then, let's have
Place
it.
your bets and strap the fuck in.
What are you waiting?
And that's a hit. One for the record books. We're back at it again, folks. The only game in town worth your time. Society's
I'm right here. What are you gonna do?
Fumbling. Come and see a couple of fighters take it out on each other.
Come up, you.
Oh, that hit looked like it fucking hurt. Oh, shit. And that's a solid blow down. But fucking wild blow, oh my God. And then down. Did you see all that on the live stream? Are you watching at home, online, on the street? Are you here live to feel the heat, the sweat, the blood? Wherever you are, this is the most exciting thing you'll see all day.
I'm pretty much good at everything. Come on!
Oh, they're gonna feel that hit in the morning if they wake up. Almost knocked their teeth right out. Well, that's what happens when you're shit. Ho-ho! That's it. That's it. We are out. We are done. Tune in next time. If you got paid, congratulations. If not, go drown your sorrows down the boozer.
Congratulations on your great victory. Now that you've helped them, they might be willing to talk to us.
About her, and we only really see her these days as a hologram. She was pretty young when she launched Brokotech, the company that is best known for introducing Bagley to the world. Nowadays, it's hard to remember a world before Bagley.
Bagley is the most advanced, significant AI of our time, and it's really blown all the other AIs that were created out of the water. And I think that what Skye Larson's done with Bagley is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really imagine the optic without it. But what do you know about Skye Larson herself?
Not a lot, other than that she's actually pretty incredible. I followed her work for a long time, and she's always been a pretty private person. I know that she supposedly grew up in the countryside, but there isn't actually that much more we know about her other than this tech that she's put out into the world.
I've always found it a bit creepy that she's so obsessed with this idea of transhumanism.
Why wouldn't you be? When you've got a mind as amazing as Skye's, why wouldn't you want to take what you've got and actually augment it by working with technology, by improving your physical self, changing your body and the world around you, implementing more technology to extend your life and really sort of extend human capabilities?
You sound pretty much in love with Skye Larson, I have to say.
I can't comment on that, but I am a big fan of her work. She's been one of these people that has transformed the world around us, and just watching how her mind works from afar is pretty incredible, because some of what the technology she's introduced has changed how we all live our lives, and Bagley has been this really incredible assistance to humanity as a whole. Did I ever tell you that I actually interviewed Skye Larson once?
Really? I thought she never spoke to the media or anything.
So this was a long time ago, back in the day when she was a little bit more accessible, and she was one of these people that just had an amazing presence. You were inspired by her very being, and she was just incredibly talented and knowledgeable, and one of possibly the best living people that I've ever met.
I'm not sure you're being too objective there. I mean, I imagine she's not very likable as a person.
She obviously despises humanity in some ways. I think she believes that becoming data is preferable to being human. She's one of these people who's extremely methodical in everything that she does, and she does everything to perfection and really tries to change the world around her and make it a better place for us to live in.
If you say so.
You're listening to The Bug.
Nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain. Hello, resistors, this is The Bug, keeping the fire of hope alive in the vacuum of today's Britain. Okay, fires don't burn in vacuums. It's a little novelty Christmas light.
What the
Shaped
fuck
like a
is
flame,
that
but
thing?
it's something. It is something to cling to. Joining me, as always, is Alice. And Alice, hold the front page. Technology apparently is here to stay. There's no way around that now. Much as I'd like to go back to the 18th century and see if we can have another crack at the Industrial Revolution and get it later on this time. But new tech is creating 4,000 jobs. Count them all, 4,000 new jobs. Thanks to this new tech.
I mean, that's a very exciting thing if you're someone who wants to work in the tech sector, but I can only assume that this tech investment has created 4,000 jobs that will immediately be taken by robots.
Even if they're not, there'll be jobs that no one in their right, sane mind would actually want to do, but that's the price of progress, I guess. And we have to embrace the way technology is taking over everything, because maybe this is a ray of hope for us in this darkened universe, that technology will in fact render us all obsolete, and we won't need humans at all, because look at the bad things that are happening now. What is the common denominator behind all of them?
I don't know, Andy, tell me.
All the bad things that are happening now, all the bad things that have ever happened, all involved human beings. They're always involved whenever anything goes wrong from the very dawn of time. And think of this, an automated Nigel Cass, surely a step up on the human Nigel Cass. You could even program it to have a tiny, tiny sliver.
Auto drive now disabled.
And if you had an automated Prime Minister, you could program it to be occasionally in the goddamn country. So that's, again, it's a step forward.
Again, I insist that there's never been a right. I've never seen him, I've never heard of him. The only times I ever hear what the right is about.
Hey, mate, are you ready to wake up from this dystopian nightmare or what?
You're saying you're dead sick? I could use the help.
Sure, maybe. What's up?
I got this mate. He got some kind of lung infection, but he can't get no help through National Health. Then a Clan Kelly doctor offered to help. For a high price, of course. But I couldn't say no.
Go on.
Them drugs work. Oh, they really work too well. Now my mate's addicted to the stuff, and this doctor knows it. He's charging 3 more times than he did the first. We're stuck. We need help.
One absolute cock. Don't worry, mate. We'll get your friend his meds.
Well, this quote-unquote doctor is a real winner. He was struck off the medical register for gross malpractice last year, and now he's a freelance mob surgeon. Nice work if you can get it.
Do you think you can track him down, Bags?
I am quite literally always tracking everyone down. Pushing you his coordinates now.
Yeah, all right.
We crowdfund it. Tell you what. Make a crypto. Currency out of something in crowdfunding.
Auto drive now enabled.
Jelly beans, are they still legal?
He's away so often, Andy. I'm
Auto
starting
drive
to
now
think he
disabled.
doesn't like the country.
Auto drive now
That's all for the
enabled.
bug today. Fly away, bugs. We are done.
Shan't one ping. Aye, Captain. It's a message. What are they saying? Special 2-for-1 offer for all Albion employees.
If you're ready to blow hunger out of the water, then our Spicy Subs 2-for-1 deal is big enough to torpedo any appetite. Offer only valid for Albion employees. Terms and conditions apply.
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. With me, Tash. It's hard to believe that there could be shortages of food and medicine in an advanced country like ours, and yet here we are. Those old government promises of adequate food turned out to be just another lie. Today we're short of basic foodstuffs and vital medical supplies. Hundreds have already died of conditions that can be easily cured. The black market means that criminal gangs like Clan Kelly run our cities. And Prime Minister Dev Hasani isn't even around to pretend to care. How do we go from a consumer paradise to a place of empty shelves fighting for supplies? What turns a land of plenty into a wild west of hoarding, food battles and black market barriers? We protect everyone who comes on the podcast by keeping their identities. Here's veteran political reporter Ian on the power behind shortages.
I mean, what was the first thing that happened when Britain sealed itself off? Like, the first stuff that got stopped from coming in was fresh food. I mean, we could live without the fresh food. I mean, everyone's quality of life got instantly worse, but we could live without it. The most damaging part was when the radioactive isotopes stopped coming in. Now, radioactive isotopes, that's what we use for cancer screening, cancer treatment. Now, that stuff, it has a short half-life. Technetium used to save hundreds of thousands of lives just by screening for cancer, let alone testing for cancer. But that stuff has a half-life of 66 hours. As soon as those walls went up, there was just no time to bring it into the country, and that is when people started dying. And then the medicines. The thing is, there's loads of medicines that you just can't stockpile. There was a moment before it took place when actually there was some effort to try and stockpile some of the medicines. There was some things that could be done. For a lot of it, there was simply nothing that could be done. We had a major problem with drugs for schizophrenia. So we saw such an uptick in the kind of attacks that you saw in the street and people suffering on their own because they didn't have the mental health drugs, because those drugs simply couldn't be stockpiled. We eventually found the same thing with foods that weren't produced in the UK. And the trouble with the UK was
Auto drive now disabled.
Produce our own food. We never have. For hundreds of years, we produced under half of our own food. So as soon as those walls went up, we started having significant material problems in the country. I mean, Britain always told itself it had this national myth, right, that it, because it got through the war, that it could go through any kind of hardship. I mean, that wasn't really the case. Actually, people during the war were far more frightened than some of this historical stuff makes out. Now, what do we see? People don't want to go.
The Clan Kelly doctor you're looking for is close by. Seems he's got a laptop with him too, presumably with a folder somewhere on it labelled Crimes. There's the laptop. Laptop scraped. Get to safety while I analyse the data. I found the mob warehouse where the experimental drugs are being stored. I'm sure Mary Kelly won't mind if you nick a few. What with her being dead and all.
Nothing shakes people's faith in capitalism quite as much as when capitalism fails to deliver. Here's underground writer and analyst Alfred, the politics.
Auto drive now enabled.
I think what we've come to now is a realisation that capitalism's essentially failed. I mean, the one key promise of capitalism that it makes to its citizens is that there will be surplus, that we will have plenty, and that's the whole logic for running society in this way, that people will have enough. And now, with this kind of huge
auto drive now disabled,
you're seeing that system collapse. It hasn't delivered on its primary promise, and I think we've really reached the situation where we have to do away with capitalism entirely. We're seeing a situation where there's shortages for the many, but for a few individuals, there's an elite who are not struggling and short of anything. So this is kind of fundamental inequality of a capitalist system, which is no longer producing the goods for most of us. Shortages are being used as well. I'm not saying that there isn't a real shortage. There possibly is real shortages, but shortages are being used as an excuse for those in power, those elites, to keep what they want and not give to the rest of us what we need. So the excuse that there's simply not enough to go around is the justification for maintaining a kind of power of the 1% and leaving the rest of us short.
So if you're starving hungry tonight, if your parents can't get their medicine and your brothers and sisters have to steal to eat, remember, it's all for the good of Albion. Or Clan Kelly. Or someone. Just not us. But that's going to change. You've been listening to Buccaneer with me, Tash. Keep spreading the word and keep sharing the podcast. There's enough of everything out there for all of us. We just need the guts to take it back. This is London Calling. You're listening to me, Tash, on Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. This time we're turning our focus back on the media to look at my former employer, the GBB. As we know, the broadcaster has been through a lot of changes since the Hassani government gave in to pressure from its corporate backers and privatised the corporation. Today, the GBB is a shadow of its former self. It's become a tool used by the government to circulate fake news and misinformation. So how did we get here? Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak on conditions of anonymity for their own safety. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who's seen free broadcasters
Auto drive now disabled.
torn down by demagogues all over the world.
So before the media fragmented, there was this voice of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. Then what we ended up with is a really commercial model where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcaster, the most important thing was to keep you in that environment for the longest amount of time possible. And
Auto drive now
that
enabled.
meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening or keep you looking for more information. The second is that kind of environment favors sensationalism. And so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories, and it didn't matter whether they were true or not. It just kept people in, and it kept them in the loop. So we ended up in a situation where nobody trusted anything, and nobody believed anything at all. And that is the perfect environment for an authoritarian voice to come in and say, no, wait, we are the truth. So the ground for this environment really got created when we had suddenly authoritarian politicians everywhere, and anything that threatened them or they disagreed with, they would call it disinformation. That's disinformation, that's fake news. And again, we got in a situation where nobody really believed anything. And the trouble is if you were telling the truth, it's very hard to get your message to cut through all of the noise of all of the disinformation that's there. So like, you'll remember Out on the Edges, there was this story about when they would take a house by force, they would take any infants and they would crucify them. And that's a great, fantastic, viral story. And how do you counter that story? With the truth. The only way you can counter it is by saying, no, they didn't. And of course, no one wants to spread that story. No one wants to hear that story. They want to hear the sensationalism. They want to hear how people were victims of violence when in fact they weren't. Or they were victims of insurgent forces when in fact they weren't.
The news isn't neutral, it's a battleground. Here's media researcher and academic Alfie.
The media has, of course, been
Auto drive now
the
disabled.
key way in which governments have controlled and influenced their populations. So, totalitarian countries have typically used huge mainstream media outlets to sell one kind of news, one kind of biased news to its population. Of course, the media has always played this kind of key role in methods of state control. I think what's happening now is perhaps even more concerning, where you previously, in pre-crisis Britain, we had perhaps more diverse voices in the media, but now with the GBB, you're really only seeing one brand of news and therefore only getting one truth. So people end up with a very biased and controlled idea of the reality and the world that we're actually living in. There was, of course, many concerns and many problems, but in a way there were some positive things that, like, not all information was coming from one place, and so you'd have kind of far-right media outlets developing and then left-wing media outlets developing to combat those and kind of challenge the mainstream newspapers, TV stations, radios, and make sure people were questioning the validity and truth of the information they were receiving. So whilst there was the digital afforded more fake information, it also makes us suspicious and sceptical of information and makes us question the information we're getting. And I think in pre-crisis Britain, it might not have seemed great at the time, but there was something positive about that there was a lot of distrust in the media and in the different kinds of truths that are being told. Whereas now, I think you're seeing a return to a more traditional and older pre-digital sense, actually, of people just trusting what they're told, and that's why we have to be here with radio stations like this to challenge those conceptions. Most citizens feel pretty hopeless,
Auto drive now enabled.
unable to fight back against these kind of huge mainstream corporations that simply entrench and support the ideals and ideologies of the state. It can seem very hopeless indeed, but I think, the fact that you're out there listening, we're in here talking, shows that there is a space to combat these false truths and disinformation that's being sold to us, and it's never possible really to completely shut down, despite all the technologies that they have at their disposal and all the financial and corporate power and all the physical power. It's never quite possible to shut down people's desire to get to the truth and fight for their own ideologies and values, and you know, we're out here starting that task, so don't give up hope.
You've been listening to Buccaneer with me, Tash. We'll be back soon with more of what you'll never hear in the GBB. Keep listening, keep sharing, keep resisting.
As the pound continues its slide against global currencies, there's never been a cheaper time to visit London. So why is tourism at a 10-year low? Tonight, GBB looks at London through the eyes of a visitor. And it's a wake-up call.
Hello and welcome back to The Upload. In this episode, we're talking about CTOS 3.0, the city operating system that's now powering all of London. For those of you who need reminding, as if anyone does at this point, CTOS...
control system. Behind the cars. There was a point back in the earliest days of self-driving car technology that they operated by themselves. They used to use a series of sensors to see the world around them. Radar, for instance, would look far off into the distance, while LiDAR would detect objects nearby. And while these cars still use some of this technology, Bloom CTOS and its detailed maps and data that it has on London really makes Bloom be able to take control of it. And CTOS can take control of your car if you're parked incorrectly. It's no surprise that it was made mandatory to have a self-driving car.
The system is so bad though, it's so annoying. Whenever I try to use one of the shareable self-driving cars, I always find myself stuck in traffic jams or roadblocks. Not to mention the accidents. I've heard so many stories of cars shunting into the back of others. I think they're worse than human drivers. Sometimes.
The technology was meant to make things better, but Bloom has made it so bad that it just makes London even more chaotic than it was before. I'm giving up on the cars. I'm only using the bikes, which are not self-driving at the moment.
Auto drive now enabled.
And don't even get me started on the data. Everything that Bloom sees from your movements around the city and the self-driving cars is collected and feeds back into its big information control system.
Oh, not you and Bloom and privacy again. You're a broken record.
Not as broken as our city's cars.
1 year ago, 3 undocumented youths were beaten to death on a high street in Chelsea. When an
Auto
optic
drive now
video
disabled.
surfaced showing the men dying at the hands of Albion guards, riots erupted, demanding justice for the Chelsea 3. Where are those Albion guards now? Join GBB tonight to learn the shocking truth.
The bug, nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain.
Yum, yum.
Hello, Bugs. This is The Bug. I'm Andy. This is Alice, and today we're going to be pretending that everything is fine. Yeah, and back. Yeah, that was...
I'm detecting a vehicle nearby with at least 2 years' worth of treatments inside. That's more than enough to wean our contact's friend off the treatment.
Right, okay.
Auto drive now enabled. Auto drive now disabled.
Done. What's next?
There's the vehicle with the drugs in it. Try not to destroy it.
disgusting, man.
Oh, shit, I gotta get out of here.
Stop there!
Somebody come help! Now!
You can't hide!
Let's get some backup.
Look what most spoiled about those, you fuck.
Taking fire!
Dropping the spoiler bomb. Watch yourselves.
I need to find cover.
I'm out. Reloading. Here's a frag for you.
Can't do this anymore. Taking fire.
Brownie spoiler on the way.
Control to all units. Possible hostiles near your location.
Control, we are pursuing the suspect.
Control, I've lost sight of the target. Over.
You might kill someone driving like that.
Control, we're returning to
pointless.
HQ.
Yeah,
Over.
I've done them, so we might as well carry on. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Yes, I think there is. Unfortunately, what is that light? Is it an oncoming train? Well, no, it couldn't be. Obviously, that train would be late or cancelled. Is the light at the end of the tunnel a burning effigy of the concept of hope? Quite possibly. Is it the soul of Sky Larson imploding into his own vacuum?
What makes this vehicle so special? Alright, fine.
This better be a joke or I'm snapping necks. No news is...
Right, so we've got the vehicle. Now what?
I found a safe location where our friend can pick it up. Sending you the coordinates now.
Auto drive now enabled.
Businesses, even governments experimenting with crypto, which doesn't really fit into its original
Auto drive now disabled.
Counterculture mold.
Yeah, it's kind of weird today to think of people not using cryptocurrency. It's so mainstream now. You know, I'm almost nostalgic for the feel of cash. Good old-fashioned paper and coins. First they changed the paper notes to plastic notes, and now it's just all digital. There's nothing to hold on to.
It was great just to be able to have a little bit of money to carry around with you.
I think the turning point in the UK really came a few years ago when the pound dropped 10% over just one season. People living off grid started using crypto, and just as everyone was losing faith in the pound, they were gaining it in cryptocurrency, which turned out to be much more stable, kind of the opposite to what people thought in the beginning.
And then, of course, there was the recession. It didn't take long for startups to see an opportunity in this new way of doing finance. A lot of traditional money was converted to crypto, and it really shook up the financial sector.
Can you remember when they first introduced crypto cash points?
That was really sneaky. It was a classic startup behaviour. They just installed them everywhere. No consultation with the government, no approval or anything. But people immediately started to use them.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of how Bloom put out the Optic. They just made it free and flooded the streets with these devices. Suddenly everyone had them.
If there's this great option of tech, people are just going to start using it, no matter the cost.
Parliament actually tried to put a stop to the cash points, but people were using them so much already, there was outrage. I mean, some parts of London were already using crypto as their primary currency by then.
And now, apparently, or at least in theory, crypto is illegal.
Yeah, in May this year, economists found that crypto was being traded more than the pound, and banks were not happy. They basically forced the government to ban cryptocurrency in a last-ditch effort to save the pound.
But it's not like that's worked. People are still using crypto, and it's been pushed further, deeper underground. Things used to work fine with crypto, and it was just a peer-to-peer sharing economy-style system. Now it's all on the dark web and wrapped up again in organised crime.
Yeah, if you want to make something thrive on the black market, just make it illegal.
From Robert Peel's Bobbies to our first radio cars, we've been here to serve this city. And while times might have changed, our dedication hasn't. The Metropolitan Police. We've been protecting London since 1829.
You're listening to The Bug.
May cause nausea, vomiting and headaches. Hello Britain, this is The Bug, the show that holds up a mirror to the world and smashes itself in the head with it in despair. I'm Andy, joining me, as always, Alice, and...
I deny everything.
It's just a good state of existence. Some good news, at last. There are no medicinal shortages, according to the government, none at all. There have been various allegations about that. It turns out they are all
Auto drive now enabled.
Trademark. There are none. There are no shortages of medicine. Don't take it from me. I'm not a medical supply expert. Take it from our beloved government. It's fine. In fact, I'm going to read between the lines here. Actually, so there's probably... There's too much medicine, if anything. Just medicines medicine. He can't move for medicine. In fact, just this morning, I tried to pour some cornflakes into a bowl for breakfast and out-tumbled a 12-month course of immunosuppressants, corticosteroids, and anti-retrofrontal neurodilatory estrogen spermatotropic fruit pastels.
The people claiming there are medical shortages are probably high on lots of medicine that they've been given. I, for one, believe that there are no medical shortages, Andy. Just last week, I went with a broken arm and they suggested it might just be extreme period pain and prescribed me a drink of water and an astrology chart.
I think we can't be too far away from them just prescribing stiff upper lip like they do with the Blitz.
My uncle had a leg removed due to diabetes. They halved his insulin because they said there was less of him to be
Auto
diabetic.
drive now enabled.
So, anyway, people, don't believe what you read or hear about there not being enough medical drugs to go around. It's not true. It's hospital hogwash, it's pharmaceutical flim-flam, it's medical mendacity, it's Hippocratic humbug, it's nonsensical narcotic nincompoop. I think I've made the point. Do not believe the news telling you that we've run out of medicine, nor should you believe the empty shelves at the chemists. They're also lying. Do not believe your doctor saying, sorry, we're fresh out of that, you're going to have to eat a carrot and pretend. And do not believe your own cobweb-ridden medicine cabinet at home. It might look empty, but it's not, for it contains the only medicine any of us truly need. Starring music, please, producer Chris. Freedom. The medicine of British freedom. And the analgesic knowledge that however ill you may be, we're keeping an eye on things for you.
I'm investing heavily in the placebo effect right now. You're listening to The Bug.
Obviously, I don't entirely mean that, because what is the first rule of the third millennium? If someone in power tells you something is fake news,
Auto drive now disabled.
Correct. A 110% cast iron, tungsten-coated, granite-scented, cosmically immutable, scientifically unarguable fact. But surely, Alice, the more important question for all these medicine freaks whinging on about feeling a bit poorly or having a fatal but curable illness and slowly dying unnecessarily is this. Do we actually need medicine? If you today got diagnosed with a potentially fatal illness, would you not look around at the
Auto drive now
and
enabled.
think, hey doc, put your life-saving treatment down, I'm going to take this free one-way bus out of here. Now hold that pillow over my face until the twitching stops.
I just don't think we should think of it in such a negative way. Don't think of it as a medicine diet, Andy. Think of it as a series of healthy lifestyle swaps. Swap out anti-inflammatories for antacids. Swap out the iron lung for the aluminium lung. Swap out MRI machines for Mary machines, which is just a lady called Mary telling you you're fine.
Obviously,
Auto drive
critical
now
shortages
disabled.
are as much part of our daily lives, our society and our culture today as things like football, music and complaining about the weather used to be in the old days. And, well, food shortages, yeah, we just learn to live with them, don't we? And there's a lot of positives as well with all these food shortages. I mean, we were eating too much anyway as a nation. The government's just helping us live healthier lifestyles. It's so hard to diet on your own, isn't it? You need the support of a friend, or a loved one, or a government, or a collective.
It's all done. Our robot will send you the coordinates of the drugs. Your friend should be fine.
I owe you one.
So, do you want to fight? Not me, just in general. For DedSec.
Just what I was hoping to hear. I mean.
Still feeling brave? Hey?
No, hey, no.
Look at this.
I'll be good.
I didn't do anything!
Oh, is this just my life now? Being chased after by a group of troll dickheads?
Until you lose them, yes. You're amusing, Bug.
Watch for hostiles, people.
Rabbit. That's all we need. That's all we need in the glory days. Everyone round to Nigel's for dinner, yum yum.
Who needs Italian olives when you can eat pickled rubber bands and a soup of regret? Who needs a nice cheese when you can eat a lukewarm, unspecified rat meat pie with 0 spices?
Sand, metals, and bits of dead fox. That's all we needed to eat in the glory days. Let's make Britain great again. That's all from the Bug today. Good night, sleep tight, and make sure that you folks don't. The Bug. Objective voice of objection for a most objectionable word. Hello, welcome to the Bug, the comedy show that holds up the Medusa of satire to the already immovably concrete face of modern Britain. I'm Andy Andy, I bench 480 and I can crack it in half just by looking at it.
Received.
Can I?
We are
Well,
trailing the
anyway.
target.
Alice, what do you bench?
I bench body weights.
Right.
Well, not my body weight.
Okay.
Body weight of the bench.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to give that kind of detail. Just
Where did you get that busy?
to the bar.
In this week's Truth News, according to an official poll, 98% of Londoners are very happy with CTOS. And I am not sure that I agree with this, Andy. I don't think 98% of Londoners know the history of London all agreed on anything. You could not get 98% of Londoners to agree that oxygen was better than breathing a fog of raw liquid feces. And they expect us to believe that everyone who works in CTOS is better than not choking on shitness.
Maybe they just meant 98% of one specific Londoner who bought shares in Bloom before its tentacles grew to all crevices in the country. I mean, this is not just any poll, I should say. This is not any poll. This is an official poll. Right in the very heart of government, not a fake poll, sitting on the bench waiting to ride. This is an official poll. So let's just put those words, official poll, through an online translator in case you didn't study languages. Let's find out what it actually means. Made up lie. There we go. I don't think it's fair to say entirely trust these official polls. They feed us, Alice. They could publish an official poll saying over 99.9% of children like ice cream. All children now hate all ice cream. They could publish an official poll saying that 10 out of 10 cats prefer cat food to being whacked with a tennis racket, which is that all cats have gone vegan and you're queuing enough outside Wimbledon meowing, choose me, choose me.
I trust these polls as much as I trust someone recommending a movie that they watched during a breakup. Your judgment is impaired, Sally.
Ramming the suspect.
I'll make my own decision.
I trust those polls as much as I trust Mary Kelly. She came and said, "Congratulations, Andy. You took on a free holiday to the south of France."
Control, we are pursuing the target.
I think official polls are like the unsolicited dick pics that the government provides us. I didn't ask for it, I don't believe it, it's on an angle, we artificially claimed it ahead of time, and anyone that falls for one deserves all the disappointment of trying to match it to reality. These polls are absolute rubbish, Andy. I read one the other day that said the plumbing in London was good, and it absolutely is not. I mean, we have this
Danger.
technology now where I can
Vehicle
slide
in
on my
critical
back.
condition.
There's a
Please
CCTV
exit
camera
immediately.
installed inside my underwear drawer. A media drone is scaring the birds off my garden bird feeder, and you can't get me consistently hot water.
Speaking of media drones,
Danger.
I mean, they're everywhere, clearly. The great thing, I guess, about media drones is that...
Have you got it? Now, you wanker.
Right, I'm putting a stop to this. Units fall back. Over.
Yes, my son.
Dogs keep showing up at my place. Every night. Scratch, scratch, scratch at my door. Sometimes it's a new dog. Sometimes it's the same dog. And I can't say no. I mean, they're dogs. Who could? But now it's like I'm running some sort of dog flop house. What I don't get is how they all know. Do they talk to each other? How do they all know where to come? It's kind of spooky.
Well, yes. Sort of.
I can't believe... What?
Touched in the head.
Disobedience will be met with force.
Are you fucking blind?
Fucking rugby.
Right, idiot.
Wow, I can't believe my luck.
AI that's present in every optic device. Whether you're using the optic, Bagley will be there. The AI is streamed to your optic from Bloom's central command center. And it was first created by Sky Larson, our tech hero, as part of her techno-utopian idea for the world.
All units. Possible suspect or suspect.
It's a great companion and really just makes life
we are ready to
so
engage.
much easier. I mean, when you look back at all the service AIs that used to exist, they just can't compete. When you ask Bagley anything, there's a quick answer and loads of information available to you. One day, I let Bagley answer all of my messages for a whole 24 hours and no one even noticed the difference.
The other competitors really just couldn't compete with Bagley. Their answers were so much worse. They didn't understand anything. And Bagley pretty much gets everything right first time. Do you have any idea why Bagley really beat all the competition?
Well, it's really the data, isn't it? Ever since Broker hooked up with Bloom, that's when things changed.
And really, that's not actually that great. Bloom has data on everybody. They collect information about everything you're doing across the web through your optic headset. Isn't the AI only good because of Bloom surveillance?
Well, I suppose so, but I prefer not to talk about that side of things. Bagley is so special because it's been trained on this huge cache of information. That's how these AI systems work, or at least used to work. I mean, we don't really know that much about the latest version because there's so much secrecy around the tech. But they're given this huge amount of training data. It's basically a huge database that's used to teach the AI about patterns in behavior. You know, so if you always travel the same way to your house, it can predict when you're going to go and get a self-driving car ready for you before you even ask for it.
That's pretty terrifying. In some ways, I don't want this data to drive my life. It understands too much at times. Have you heard some of the rumours around the hacked version of Bagley?
I've heard mutterings, yes.
I've heard it's been used by DedSec.
I wouldn't put it past them. It's pretty well known that they're not fans of Bloom. But the idea of a souped-up version of Bagley, given it's already so intelligent, is a bit terrifying.
I wonder what they can actually make it do.
They hacked it, and, you know, he lost everything.
They said it was safe.
The dealer transferred the funds using cryptocurrency.
They said it was crime-free.
Well, it's new jobs, isn't it? Gotta have new jobs.
They said it was patriotic. They lied. Cryptocurrency. If you can't see it, how can you really trust it?
From the Buccaneer, this is the Bug. Hello, Resistors, it's Bug time. Are you all sitting comfortably? No? Good. That's as it should be. This is the Bug. I'm Andy, and joining me to analyse the latest blowflies to emerge from the corpse of a once-free Britain, it's Alice.
Hello, Andy.
And today, we're going to talk to you about Albion, your friends of mine. Alice, the government has extended Albion's contract and have also boasted that violent crime has plummeted to a record low.
So we've got the vehicle. Now what?
I can confirm that the onboard hard drive contains all the data our friend could need, pushing you a suitable drop-off point.
Right, going now.
Can anyone see the suspect? Negative. Suspect is gone. Issue an APW.
Auto drive now enabled.
Humans is permitted.
Auto drive now disabled. Auto drive now enabled. You have reached your destination.
Our activist friend has come to collect the vehicle.
I'll go and have a chat with him.
Patch me through to control.
You know, when I got a message saying to expect a data delivery, I was not expecting this.
Bagley has a thing for understatement. You get used to it. But the hard drive in the Albion-mobile should have everything you need.
Here, here. With this, we'll be staying a step ahead of Albion. For now, at least. I'm in your debt.
So, do you want to fight? Not me, just in general. For DedSec.
All right, mate. I'm in.
Albion will protect at all costs. Protest rallies are not permitted.
Here's something fun. I was doing one of my routine head counts, and it turns out one of you is completely unaccounted for. Probably kidnapped.
Shit.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. They'll be fine, assuming they're not dead. In the meantime, I've identified someone with a grudge against DedSec who fits the profile of a likely kidnapper. Find him, and you'll find your friend.
Piss easy. I got this.
Crime these days, anyway. The moment you pick up a fruit knife, you get tasered by a robot policeman and deported for looking Bulgarian. It's a much more... Peaceful society. It's just much less of a society.
I want to know the details of the contracts, Alice. I mean, are they paid per dissident duffed up? Is it a set rate for each extrajudicial state mugging? And what is that rate? What do you think?
Well, they certainly look like they're trying to hit a quota of some kind.
Well, what is the set rate? Is it, 99.95 crypto?
Auto drive now enabled.
Very reasonable indeed. I imagine they don't ask too much anyway, Albion, because it's just so nice to get paid for doing your hobby anyway, isn't it? I imagine it doesn't even feel like work.
I mean, who needs violent crime anymore anyway? You know, you can just starve to death without even starting a gang war.
We do have to ask exactly what does the Prime Minister make of all this. Let's ask him. Oh, I hope they pick up.
Auto drive now disabled.
Number 10 Downing Street. Hello, is the Prime Minister there, please? Let me just check. Sorry, you've missed him on Franklin's hot route for the decade. Oh, never mind. Is there anyone else I can talk to?
Problem. How the bloody hell is my access tonight? Right, now I'm gonna have to call it in. This is your fucking job. Right, there. What's that there? Ah, fuck. Never mind.
GPS analysis complete. I've got a bead on our kidnapped operative.
Send me the coordinates.
What? Give your children to wolves?
Auto drive now enabled.
Do we actually own anything as a country now? Is there anything we haven't flogged off for profit? Oh, I think we've basically just become a homeopathic Britain. Diluted and diluted until there's barely a trace of the original Britain left. But some quackish lunatics insist it actually works better that way. It's total bullshit. Is there anything left? New on the bug this week, a new feature. The Bug Off feature. The person who is most irritated in Britain this week, we're going to tell to bug off and to get things going. I'm going to nominate...
Auto drive now
Nigel.
disabled.
Nigel Cass, look, this is Britain. History tells us this place is a bastion.
Auto drive now
I'm just
enabled.
not sure that kind of freedom should involve Big Nigel expressing his freedom to run a private army. I guess, historically, there is a precedent. The East India Company. That was a trading house with an army of 250,000 soldiers, which is a lot for a company. The Bug PLC has Alice with a water pistol, but crucially, compared with Albion, the East India Company didn't operate its 250,000 strong army in London. It did it a long way away, out of sight, out of mind. Anyone to nominate for the Bug Off, Alice?
I think today's Bug Off for me goes to my streaming service. I'm sick of being recommended things based on things I already like. The other day it recommended me to watch a reality TV competitive dating show set in a nude commune. Andy, I watched it and I liked it, and I do not want to be the kind of person who enjoys nude competitive reality television dating shows. I did not want to know that about myself. I have to go sit in the corner and cry.
That's it from the Bug. Don't forget, the live show that is so secret it is definitely not happening at the usual time and place this month. Definitely not. So definitely do not tell anyone not to come to it. It's definitely not happening. Usual time and place. Bye-bye.
Life expectancy in the UK continued its fall, reaching its lowest point in 20 years, according to an Office for National Statistics report. Join GBB for an analysis of this distressing trend.
Hello and welcome to today's
Auto
episode
drive now
of
disabled.
The Upload. We're talking about the Optic and how it's changed our lives. Now, as you remember, Bloom announced a new version of the Optic at the recent Tone conference. But
Auto
we haven't
drive
heard
now
too much
enabled.
about that since, due to the dramatic events there. Let's cast our minds back and consider the technology. I mean, the Optic changed everything. It lets you see things in AR. You no longer need a smartphone. You just have the small implant that sends signals to your optic nerve and lets you see your emails, take calls, and browse the internet directly as if the screen was in front of your eyes. Instead of having to carry around a phone, you've just got the small handheld unit. So much lighter and so much more convenient. It's great.
Vicky, you sound like you absolutely love the Optic. Do you actually think that it's made our lives any better?
I mean, sure, it's definitely made things a lot easier. It's so simple to call someone now. All you have to do is choose who you want to chat to and they're there, ready to talk. And browsing the web is so much easier. I remember when you used to have to sit down at a computer with an actual keyboard and mouse and type everything out. And my favourite feature is public transport. With the Optic, you can just walk straight onto the tube. It even acts as a passport. No longer do I have to dig around and try and find my old paper passport just to travel somewhere. Also, I thought that Optic's marketing strategy,
Auto-drive now
making it
disabled.
free for people, was a stroke of genius.
Genius. Bloom was really calculated when it was doing that. It was pushing this draconian device on us at all. Sure, everybody flocked to it. There was free Wi-Fi and phone plans. That definitely helped, but it wasn't a case of
Sorry,
this is a
this
product
isn't
that
what it
you
looks
need
like.
in your life.
Why do you hate it so much?
It's just the worst because you had to give up your privacy expectations and accept surveillance. It was almost like the government and Bloom didn't even need to make the Optic mandatory. Making it mandatory was only to get the last holdouts across the line. If free data didn't convince you, fines and arrests from the state for not having the Optic would pretty much be enough.
I mean, what do you mean by privacy problems? No one really talks about that anymore.
They don't talk about it because we don't have any choice when it comes to the Optic. Yes, it's convenient and mandatory, but everybody's forgotten what it really means. Here, you've got a whole company owning basically all the data about your life. Bloom can see everything that you can see. Nothing is
Auto-drive
private
now
anymore.
enabled.
There are so many times when I don't want anyone to have a clue about where I am, who I'm chatting with, what I'm doing. It's not even dodgy stuff, but I just don't want anybody to blackmail me with this in the future by hacking it. And because of Bloom's contracts with the government, it isn't just Bloom that can see everything I do, it's the government. The UK as a state has become a complete surveillance paradise.
I think you're painting a bit of a bleak picture. It's not all that bad.
Auto-drive now
No, you're
enabled.
completely wrong on this. I don't want everybody tracking me wherever I'm going around London.
Well, in that case, you might be interested in some rumours I heard. Did you hear that some DedSec hackers have found a way to bypass the Optic's connection with Bloom?
Are they actually making it better or usable or actually friendly for anybody?
Well, word on the street is that they've been able to create an encrypted
Auto-drive now
signal,
disabled.
which means that your world might have a chance of becoming a bit more private again, so you could go back and enjoy all the great things about Optic without that fear of surveillance.
With the Optic, privacy's dead.
You're listening to The Bug.
Nibbling away on the rotting
Auto-drive
carcass of
now
once
enabled.
free Britain. Hello, Resistors. This is The Bug, and on today's show, Alice and I will be looking at the big questions, such as, are we less than 2 years away from being able to turn a sausage back into a live pig? Did we actually need polar bears anyway? What do they really do? If I put Optic on my dog, can I train it to take itself for a walk and do my shopping on the way home? And is tennis real? But first... it's a question that no one's really addressed of late. London is going to be safer than ever, Alice. SIRS is installing thousands of additional CCTV cameras. So
The missing operative is here. They survived this long, so try not to get them killed in the home stretch.
Auto-drive now disabled.
Better than some twat behind a screen in the SIRS headquarters.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't complain. I mean, SIRS really just stepping into the vacancy left when it became patently obvious that God had retired. When you think of that, the similarities, omnipresent, omniscient, judgmental, stripping away your finances and freedoms, dishing out random punishments, peas in a pod. All it needs to do, SIRS, is ban me from eating something. What's it going to be this time? Not bacon again, please. Please, not bacon. Coulter. Ban Coulter. I could take you ban Coulter.
Spread out and find them. Drone, initiate search protocol.
Better hide. Gunfire! Big mistake. Officer down. Give yourself up.
Returning to patrol.
Spotted a hacked drone. Initiate lockdown.
Shots fired.
Taking a cover position.
Dispatch on them. Reinforcements. Incoming dispatch. Drones are en route to suspect.
Francis just used quarry, spin into it for half an hour, and then lock yourself in a shed forever. Thanks, Buzzy. You know the answer to everything.
Hey, Buzzy, how many sea cells would sea cell by the seashore? Alex, most of the seashore is now uninhabitable, so I would highly recommend you see a doctor before engaging in any commercial proximity to the ocean.
Buzzy, how can I stop worrying about being disappeared by Clan Kelly every time I go to the shop or take...
A bus or sit on a bench or look at a tree or point at a bird or think about snooker or get it.
That's it. Ending the search.
Search the area. Check doors and corners. Go. Drone, begin search.
Searching for suspects.
Leave me alone, please.
The Ultimate Bugs Podcast, the objective voice of objection for this most objectionable world. I am...
All clear here. Moving on.
Searching perimeter. Target remain. Assuming task.
Here, it's coming from here. I must get a new wheel with at least one other place on it. And the headline today, Alex, our borders are safe. We can all sleep easy in our well-bordered beds. 4,000 illegals were deported last month. These illegal people break the law just by existing. And of course, contagious. It can osmose through your skin just by standing next to an illegal person. So we've got rid of 4,000. Why is it 4,000? Is that really enough? I will not feel safe until at least another 75 million people have been deported from this country, and I'm here in Britain on my own.
As a greenheart lefty, Andy, I would normally be outraged about this, but really I think mass deportation is a very handy way to break up with a partner. I'm sorry, baby, I love you, but an anonymous source has reported you for snoring really loudly in a French way.
So everyone out, no exceptions, Alice, not even you. It's for the good of the country. Everyone out, unless you can prove that your family are in the background on the Bayeux Tapestry cheering on King Harold at the Battle of Hastings in 1066. Get out! Actually, that's not British enough. Unless you can show, unarguably, that your direct bloodline is untainted by anything since before the Romans. Unless your direct ancestor was personally responsible for building stones, get out of there.
I want the targets now. Drone, perform a search.
Morning, Andy. I didn't hear that one.
Boom. Set up. Punchline. For those of you unfamiliar with it, the Immigration Processing Centre is, of course, where so many of our guests
Reports of unauthorised drone access will be on alert.
Involuntary hide and seek. You are listening to The Buzz. Received.
Mobilising now.
With Britain's Day. I think immigration is right up there, Alice. When you think of all the health professionals we've stolen from overseas over the years here in Britain, it's quite possible that all these people are just coming here to try to get an appointment with their local doctor.
Yes, Andy, certainly someone who came from the expanded arm of the empire when Britain was still reaching out rather than folding in on itself. Most of us just come here to visit our stuff in the museums.
It's the British way.
Speaking of international movement, Britain has recalled all European ambassadors after a spy scandal. I think this is probably a good thing, because British foreign politicians are always putting their foot in their mouths. How much worse can they do if they're not there? I mean, by definition, the fact that there's a spy scandal means that they were terrible spies. The point of spies is that there's never a spy scandal.
Yeah, but let's give credit to all the spies that... It's not as bad as it seems. Honestly. I hope. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Market dips, shares roller coasters, cryptocurrency.
There are those who like to speculate and accumulate.
Is everyone watching? Now check this shit out.
Clear!
If you're not careful, they'll get you and drop you. Clear. Let's move on.
It's gone. Stand on.
Drone, follow me.
What is...
Time to move! Off you go.
Huh?
Restricted zone. On your way.
Don't need the shite.
Can I help you?
toe rat.
Buckle up. Off you go. Stand down now.
Continuing unlawful activity will result in arrest. Investigation underway. Entering combat mode.
Holy crap! You will need to leave. Give yourself up.
Didn't feel nothing.
Neutralizing hostile target.
Fucking hell!
Heads down! Got one!
Waiting area crime report.
What's taking them so bloody long?
Control mode reinitiated.
Stay on your toes.
All clear over here. Moving on. Check your doors and corners.
Send me all extra units. Drones are on their way to the suspect.
Stay sharp. Search the area.
Cease and desist, or you will be restrained.
Keep our eyes peeled. They're around here somewhere.
Caution clear. Moving to assist.
Damn it! They're gone!
Drone, hold position and guard the area.
Safety is Albion's priority.
When the blood clot! Got somebody down here.
Spread out and find the bastard! Grunt, perform search.
Eyes peeled. Search this location. Clear. Move on. Have a look around. Clear. Moving on. Shit! To last known position. Bloody muffin! Is that the best you've got? 1 second, I'm out! Oh God, that's a hit!
Get him out of here.
This is London.
Looks like you avoided them. Our friend is back in fighting shape and another enemy of DedSec has been thwarted. Nicely done.
In today's world, we've all had to get used to every move being tracked by the optic on our temples.
Hell yes. You see all that? Fuck, I'm good at being in DedSec.
You wouldn't have been recruited if DedSec thought you'd be killed that easily.
You trying to be nice, Bags? Oh. Oh, thanks, mate.
Yeah, he does this sometimes. Best to try and ignore it. Good work.
And what happens when capitalism and surveillance become one? As you know, we keep all names confidential. Buccaneer. Speaking from a secure location, here's new technology strategist Charles, who worked all over the world trying to keep democracy strong in the face of the data assault.
Auto drive now enabled.
If you have enough personal data on somebody, you're able to predict what it is that they're going to do. You can tell what they might be passionate about, but mostly you can tell what they fear. And if you can tell what someone fears, then you can manipulate them and you can move them in particular directions. Data is collected on citizens in every possible way. Data is collected through surveillance cameras. Data is collected from television sets. They don't even necessarily need to be super smart television sets. Data is collected from voter records. It's collected from how much power do you use in your house and how much water do you use in your house. In pre-crisis Britain, we got really used to all of our services being free. Everything suddenly became free that was digital. But what people forgot is that if you're not paying for it, then you're the product being sold.
If technology brings out the worst in capitalism, capitalism brings out the worst in technology. Senior academic Alfie tells us how big business repurposes big data.
historically what's happened, of course, is that people have traded their privacy for their convenience as smartphones and other kinds of technology came in and became mass-consumed, mass-used items and technological objects. Gradually, people were so attracted to the affordances of these technologies that privacy kind of retreated into the background and into a state we've got now, where it's essentially gone. Having this access to this data makes huge tech companies like Bloom so much more powerful than they would be otherwise, and not just in the obvious ways. Of course, there's a lot of worry and fear over what they can do with the data, that can track anyone, find anyone, see what every individual is doing at any point in time. But I think there's even deeper reasons why this data empowers these huge companies to control our society and make us do things. So lots of predictive technologies which are implemented by these tech giants. It's not only interested in knowing what we're going to do, but influencing the patterns of our movement. So technologies might suggest routes to use in the city, places to go, restaurants to go to, cafes to go to, music to listen to. And these suggestions are not just predicting what we might like to do, they're actually influencing the way citizens move, think, eat, meet, and use their city as a space. So London has become a place where a small group of surveillance capitalist companies like Bloom can control the movements of individuals and orchestrate the way they move around their city and the way they essentially live, the things they do, the things they enjoy, and the life they lead. So we're really kind of outsourcing our decision-making, I would say, to a huge corporate capitalist company, and there's something very, very scary about that indeed. All these technologies can be used to not only influence us to act as the perfect consumer, but also to prevent us from doing radical and revolutionary things. So technologies in foreign nations that have been used are things like heat map features which show where populations are gathering. In-game rewards can be offered to people to take different routes, things like that. Traffic data can be manipulated to prevent people gathering and protesting, as has happened
Auto
in
drive
some
now
of the
disabled.
authoritarian regimes across the world recently. So what we're looking at is not only a set of technologies which make people behave as ideal consumers, but ones which actually can be put to use to prevent radical and disruptive behaviour in the city, which limits the power of any kind of revolutionary force.
So, if you thought you had a private life, get used to it. You don't. And we're not going to reclaim our lives without a fight. I'm Tash, and you've been listening to Buccaneer, keeping the resistance informed. Keep listening, keep fighting, and remember, nobody owns you but you.
You share your thoughts online. You share your lives online. Now it's time to share your responsibility online. When you see something suspicious, then it's time to speak up. SIRS. We're looking out for Britain. Are you?
This is London Calling. You're listening
Negative.
to Buccaneer,
No sign of the target
your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not?
Returning to HQ.
They're going to be listening.
Search
anyway.
terminated.
They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organisation that uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis Britain.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation. And the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is a nation? A nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does. It's just a myth. But that's what they go for. On that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into.
We have a civilian who needs medical
Control to all
Exactly the same
Possible
thing in
hostiles
Nazi
near your
Germany. Look at the
location.
concentration camps that operated in
Received,
Nazi
we are in
Germany. There were
pursuit.
private companies in those
A spy that's been after our potential recruit is nearby. You could hack their optic to erase all the intel they've gathered. I'm sure the person we're tracking would be quite glad to see them dealt with.
operate as each other's props.
Charles is an expert in the dark arts of surveillance who worked to set up democratic media and post-communist states. How did it go so wrong in Britain?
We're looking at all the wrong things when we look at Britain's crisis. There's a lot of concentration on data and how that's been used and manipulated.
Control,
and what we haven't
we're
looked
pursuing the
at
suspect.
is power structures and the profit that lies behind this. For
Suspect is
example,
unsighted.
if we
Unsighted,
examine what
sweeping
actually
area.
happened, you know, there's a company that's really very interested in selling passports and making it easy to provide visas
Control,
for investment
we're
and
heading
so
back.
on. And historically, throughout the world, they've been working with this big data manipulation company in order to overthrow governments. And then suddenly all the chickens came home to roost. Nobody could find any receipts for what was paid for. Nobody could figure out how things were done, but everybody had a feeling that something really stunk, and they couldn't figure it out. And yet, it was standing there in their face the whole time. There's a couple of different ways that we got where it is that we are. I mean, one, you have a lot of smaller organizations, smaller power groups, companies as well, who are bending things just a little. Oh, we'll compromise a little bit. We'll bend the rules a little bit and try to achieve what it is that we hope to achieve that's good for us. And if you add all of that up, what you end up with is a big wall moving.
All the intel has been wiped. That should set SIRS back a bit. I'll inform our prospect.
Gathering of data and the analysis of data.
Now that you've helped them, they might be willing to talk to us.
It is by its nature a tool for authoritarianism, and it has been used in that way.
How does big data look into our lives? James covered it for the pre-crisis press.
We're starting to see the merger of private data and that with data held by the state into what are called social credit systems. This is where every aspect of your behaviour is monitored and totted up by a central system. You sort of score you as a person, a bit like a credit card, but predicated on all of your behaviour rather than just the money you're spending. And this can have profound impact. We're starting to see systems emerge which will punish you and stop you from doing things in society based on your behaviours. And this can be as trivial as if you jaywalk, if you cross the road in the wrong place, you might lose points. If you do some community activities or help your neighbours, you might earn points. And then this can be used to sort of evaluate you as a person. And this could mean, for example, better travel privileges, being able to travel first class, or being denied from travelling first class to not being allowed to travel at all. These systems are very real and very possible because of all the data that is now helping us.
So if your ears are burning and think someone might be watching you, you're probably right. They're watching all of us. I'm Tash, and you've been listening to Buccaneer. Keep listening, keep sharing the show, and keep it connected. They're watching us, but we're watching them too.
You know what's fucked up? Just by stopping to chat with me, they put you on a list. But it doesn't have to be that way.
Would you happen to be in DedSec? Because I have some information you'll find useful.
Go on.
I, along with 300 of my colleagues, were all made redundant a few weeks ago.
Mate, I'm sorry, that's awful.
Thankfully, I managed to land on my feet. But something about the layoff stinks to high heaven. What company has the resources to replace 300 skilled workers like that? It's preposterous.
Right. So, you want DedSec to look into your replacement then?
Exactly. I never forget a favor. Help me and I'll help you however I can.
A tech corporation acting unethically? Sounds out of character, but let's investigate anyway.
Leave it with me. I'll see what I can find out.
I've always found it a bit creepy that she's so obsessed with this idea of transhumanism.
Why wouldn't you be when you've got... a mind as amazing as Skye is? Why wouldn't you want to take what you've got and actually augment it by working with technology, by improving your physical self, changing your body and the world around you, implementing more technology to extend your life and really sort of extend human capabilities?
You sound pretty much in love with Skye Larson, I have to say.
I can't comment on that, but I am a big fan of her work. She's been one of these people that has transformed the world around us, and just watching how her mind works from afar is pretty incredible, because some of what the technology she's introduced has changed how we all live our lives, and Bagley has been this really incredible assistance to humanity as a whole. Did I ever tell you that I actually interviewed Skye Larson once?
Really? I thought she never spoke to the media or anything.
So this was a long time ago, back in the day when she was a little bit more accessible, and she was one of these people that just had an amazing presence. You were inspired by her very being, and she was just incredibly talented and knowledgeable, and one of possibly the best living people that I've ever met.
I'm not sure you're being too objective there. I mean, I imagine she's not very likable as a person.
She obviously despises humanity in some ways. I think she believes that becoming data is preferable to being human. She's one of these people who's extremely methodical in everything that she does, and she does everything to perfection and really tries to change the world around her and make it a better place for us to live in.
If you say so.
Market dips, shares roller coasters, cryptocurrency. There are those who like to speculate to accumulate, and those who just want to make sure their money is safe. Lane Bank has been offering loans, savings and mortgages since we were founded in 1867. That's why we're sticking with the pound. Only legal citizens, only the pound, only you. Lane Bank, because we know you're banking on us.
You're listening to The Bug.
Nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain. Hello, resistors, this is The Bug, keeping the fire of hope alive in the vacuum of today's Britain. Okay, fires don't burn in vacuums. It's a little novelty Christmas light, shaped like a flame, but it's something. It is something to cling to. Joining me, as always, is Alice. And Alice, hold the front page. Technology, apparently, is here to stay. There's no way around that now. Much as I'd like to go back to the 18th century and see if we can have another crack at the Industrial Revolution and get it later on this time. But new tech is creating 4,000 jobs. Count them all, 4,000. 4,000 new jobs, thanks to this new tech investment.
I mean, that's a very exciting thing if you're someone who wants to work in the tech sector, but I can only assume that this tech investment has created 4,000 jobs that will immediately be taken by robots.
Even if they're not, there'll be jobs that no one in their right, sane mind would actually want to do, but that's the price of progress, I guess. And we have to embrace the way technology is taking over everything, because maybe this is a ray of hope for us in this darkened universe, that technology will in fact render us all obsolete, and we won't need humans at all, because look at the bad things that are happening now. What is the common denominator behind all of them?
I don't know, Andy, tell me.
All the bad things that are happening now, all the bad things that have ever happened, all involved human beings. They're always involved whenever anything goes wrong from the very dawn of time. And think of this, an automated Nigel Cass, surely a step up on the human Nigel Cass. You could even program it to have a tiny, tiny sliver of conscience. And if you had an automated Prime Minister, you could program it to be occasionally in the goddamn country. So that's, again, just a step forward.
Again, I insist that there's never been a Prime Minister, Andy. I've never seen him, I've never heard of him. The only times I ever hear what the Prime Minister does is when nothing happens.
And I've thought this for a long time. We would be better off if the Prime Minister was a watermelon. No, it would be, I think we'd all be happy with that. We'd all know where we stood.
You hear him being praised for his diplomatic skills all the time, but the best mark of diplomacy is when nothing happens. So good diplomacy is indistinguishable from him doing absolutely nothing.
You are listening to The Bug. 4,000 new dream jobs for everyone. All I can say, Alice, is that I'm very glad that my children studied drama at school, because that has set them up for life in modern Britain. That is the one core skill they need, the ability to pretend that they are living happy and fulfilled lives, that they have jobs that are worth doing, and that they're making the planet a better place, and that they control their own destinies, and that they have even a parody of a private life, and that they can smile without crying. That's what drama teaches them to do. Crucial skills in this day and age. Of course, it's not just the jobs that have been technologicalised beyond all recognition. It is also all reality. Thanks once again to Optic. According to Bloom, the Optic system is now the most secure it's ever been. And, well, of course, it's so convenient, Optic, isn't it? It saves us so much time and hassle trying to exist in the kind of realm of reality. I don't even need to bother with that. I mean, sure, the government has hacked into my soul and now basically monitors my every waking moment and thought. But at least I don't have to type, where's my nearest coffee shop, into a search engine. At least I don't have to waste anything between 8 and 12 seconds every day going online to look up how to make a bowl of muesli. And at least I'm not frittering away my precious mental energies thinking, what do I actually think?
Optic is so secure, Andy. It's more secure than a teenage girl reading a women's magazine. It's more secure than a comedian with a drinking problem. It's more secure than a young man who's just got his first motorcycle license.
Finally, before we go today, bug off to the Prime Minister, who has once again FRO'd to who knows where this week. He sure as hell is not here in London. I remember back in the day, Alice, when our Prime Ministers were either incompetent or crooked, but not both at once. But actually, no, I can remember them being both at once. But incompetent, crooked, and not even in the country. That is one impressive triple whammy. I've had Lions longer than his longest spell on British soil in this last year. It's this halfway house I can't stand. Either come back and do your job, or leave the planet entirely. I'm pretty sure there must be a spare space station knocking around where he can go and entertain himself for the rest of the time. Can we crowdfund it? Tell you what, let's make a cryptocurrency out of something and crowdfund it that way. What have you got spare? Jelly beans? Are they still legal?
He's away so often, Andy. I'm starting to think he doesn't like the country.
That is all from the Bug today. Fly away, bugs. We are done.
You've arrived at our contact's former employer, and aside from some heavily armed security guards, it's basically a ghost town.
Interesting.
I don't think this replacement is on site. Dig around and see if you can figure out where they are. You can do your corporate espionage from there.
Here comes data.
Copy that. I'll analyze the company records while you get to safety.
Bagley, what you got for me?
Well, I found our prospect's replacement. It's an AI. And not one of those fancy AIs you get by killing your mum and sticking her brain in the thermostat. This one's about as low end as you can get. It could maybe replace a few million humans at most.
Fuck me sideways.
Oh, right. I suppose from your perspective that's a lot. If you like, we can go destroy it before it puts anyone else out of work.
Works for me. Send me the coordinates.
No sign of the suspect. Let's call it in.
Shortages are being used as an excuse for those in power, those elites, to keep what they want and not give to the rest of us what we need. So the excuse that there's simply not enough to go around is the justification for maintaining a kind of power of the 1% and leaving the rest of us short.
So if you're starving hungry tonight, if your parents can't get their medicine and your brothers and sisters have to steal to eat, remember, it's all for the good of Albion, or Clan Kelly, or someone, just not us. But that's going to change. You've been listening to Buccaneer and me, Tash. Keep spreading the word and keep sharing the podcast. There's enough of everything out there for all of us. We just need the guts to take it back.
Run it.
Jump it.
Climb it.
Conquer it.
Whatever you're doing this weekend, Scoreline has the gear you need to get your heart racing. You do it, we close it. Scoreline. We're more than sports.
This is London Calling. You're listening to me, Tash, on Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. This time we're turning our focus back on the media to look at my former employer, the GBB. As we know, the broadcasting has been through a lot of changes since the Hassani government gave in to pressure from its corporate backers and privatised the corporation. Today, the GBB is a shadow of its former self. It's become a tool used by the government to circulate fake news and misinformation. So how did we get here? Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak on conditions of anonymity for their own safety. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who's seen free broadcasters built up by journalists and torn down by demagogues all over the world.
So before the media fragmented, there was this voice of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. Then what we ended up with is a really commercial model where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcaster, the most important thing was to keep you in that environment for the longest amount of time possible. And because that meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening or keep you looking for more information. The second is that kind of environment favors sensationalism. And so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories, and it didn't matter whether they were true or not. It just kept people in and it kept them in the loop. So we ended up in a situation where nobody trusted anything and nobody believed anything at all. And that is the perfect environment for...
The job-killing AI's code blueprint has been packed up into a crate on site.
Ooh, I love breaking stuff.
Another artificial intelligence cast into the banter black void of oblivion, never again to think or feel or be. Look, he's pretty good at that. Thanks, buddy. Now get to safety and I'll send our friends the good news.
Okay, get this. Your replacement, it's an AI. Isn't that cool? I mean, it's not that to you, but super cool.
You can't be serious.
I know, right? Anyway, it was going to wipe out your whole industry or whatever, but DedSec put a stop on it, so no big deal.
Wonderful, thank you.
So, do you want to fight? Not me, just in general. For DedSec.
Right. Count me in.
Suspect must have made off.
Left-wing media outlets developing to combat those and kind of challenge the mainstream newspapers, TV stations, radios, and make sure people were questioning the validity
and truth of the information they were receiving. So whilst there was the digital
afforded more fake information, it also makes us suspicious and sceptical of information and makes us question the information we're getting. And I think in pre-crisis system it might not
seem great at the time, but there was something positive about that there was a lot of distrust in the media and in the different kinds of truths that were being told, whereas now I think you're seeing a return to a more traditional and older pre-digital sense, actually, of people just trusting what they're told, and that's why we have to be here with radio stations like this to challenge those conceptions. Most citizens feel pretty hopeless, I think, and unable to fight back against these kind of huge mainstream corporations that simply entrench and support the ideals and ideologies of the state. It can seem very hopeless indeed, but I think, you know, the fact that you're out there listening, we're in here talking, shows that there is still a space to combat these false truths and disinformation that's being sold to us, and that it's never possible really to completely shut down, despite all the technologies that they have at their disposal and all the financial and corporate power and all the physical power. It's never quite possible to shut down people's desire to get to the truth and fight for their own ideologies and values, and you know, we're out here starting that task, so don't give up hope.
You've been listening to Buccaneer with me, Tash. We'll be back soon with more of what you'll never hear on the GBB. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep resisting.
Mum, this is boring.
I'm out of data.
Oh, I was playing that game.
Mum!
Anywhere, anytime you need us, we're there. Wi-Fi on the fly.
Hello and welcome back to The Upload. In this episode, we're talking about CTOS 3.0, the city operating system that's now powering all of London. For those of you who need reminding, as if anyone does at this point, CTOS was first used in Chicago in 2014 and then San Francisco in 2017 before coming here to London. And every time it's been rolled out, it's been pretty much an unmitigated disaster.
For those of you who are listening who are lucky enough not to be here in London's chaotic scenes, it's worth remembering that the Telecoms Tower is now owned by Bloom. The tower looms over northwest London. It's always been a communications hub, acting as part of the UK's television and communications network, although there's been some secrecy around its use, and now that Bloom owns it, it's only even more secret.
Yet now everything that's part of Bloom's city surveillance operation is run through the Telecoms Tower. And I have to say, it looks completely ridiculous. It's got that silly crown thing at the top and all the blue light.
What's that even about? What does it do? I don't see that there's any purpose to that at all.
It's a blight on the skyline, if you ask me, and it's become the main point of control for millions of people. The System Network and Bagley are both operated and streamed from there too.
And don't forget about the self-driving cars too.
I always thought they were just running on their own.
No, CTOS is the big control system behind the cars. There was a point back in the earliest days of self-driving car technology that they operated by themselves. They used to use a series of sensors to see the world around them. Radar, for instance, would look far off into the distance, while LiDAR would detect objects nearby. And while these cars still use some of this technology, Blue CTOS and its details
Can you believe that he dropped my food all over me? Yeah, the sandwich just opened.